When I look back at my life, the key was not that I was grinding or that I was pursuing something or that I was chasing something. The key was that I just said yes to everything that God asked me to do.
Hope Darst on the Joy FM. Oh my, I can already tell we're going to have some fun.
I am so happy to be here.
I am too. Literally, I've been so excited about meeting and getting to know you.
Same. I love this station. I love you guys. So I'm so excited to be here.
There's just a lot of love because I love you too. So
I mean, we're already best friends.
That's right. That's right. Okay, I want to talk about your new song that I love. Hands of the Healer.
Yes.
All right. Can I tell you my favorite line?
Okay, tell me.
Okay, here
I have
it
a
is.
favorite line too.
I'm not going to sing it.
Okay.
But I'm just going to say
Maybe
it.
you should try. No, just kidding. I won't make you.
Don't tempt me. Yeah, no, I'll take it. You bear the scars. It says that you can heal every wound, and history proves that I'll see you do it again. So how is God being a healer part of your story? This is a twofer.
Okay.
And when has God reminded you of his faithfulness in your past to show you that he will be faithful again?
Well, this is very easy for me to talk about. So when I wrote this song, I wrote it 3 years ago, not knowing that we would end up in like a 3-year-long journey with our oldest daughter believing for healing. I'm trying to remember the exact year, but when she was 12, she had an injury to her ankle that led to an injury in her knee that led to just a series of events. Eventually, she had to have massive surgery in her knee. They had to put in a cadaver, all kinds of stuff. Surgery was successful, but ever since her surgery, she's lived with chronic pain. And
At 15.
At 15. So we're now 3 years into this journey. Every single day of her life, she fights chronic pain in her knee. And it doesn't, like, we have gone to endless doctors, endless MRIs, everything. And all they come back with is, we can't find the problem. We don't know what to do. And I didn't know when I wrote the song that I would have to be walking this out in real time, in real life, when God, says, okay, now it's time. Because when I wrote it, I thought we would put it on my last record. And
hang on, can I rewind just a little bit? Because I want to make
Yes.
sure I'm understanding the timing. So when you wrote that song,
this had not happened. All she had
so it was
done,
almost like God was preparing you.
Absolutely. As songwriters, we don't always know that. Sometimes we write songs because it's in real time. And then I think sometimes God goes, I'm getting ready to deposit a song into you that you don't even know that's going to actually end up being a song that you're going to have to sing over your own life and in your own circumstance. And so at the time that I wrote it, I thought I would put it on my last record, and I just felt like a pause, like I wasn't supposed to release it. We circle back to this record, and of course now we're in this journey, and I'm like, well, okay, I have to release this song. And what's crazy is that I have seen God heal in my life. When I was 6 months old, I was in a very serious car accident, and the back of my head hit the front dashboard of the car back in the 80s when there was no seatbelts. And my entire head indented like an inflated basketball. If you can imagine, like just pushing one side of a basketball that doesn't have enough air in. That is what my entire head did. Of course, the doctors were like, she's going to be brain damaged. She's not ever going to function again. My parents and our whole church get together, have a vigil, are praying through the night. They wake up the next morning and my head is perfectly normal, completely back, perfect shape. They run every test you can imagine. And they're like, she's fine. It's a miracle. When I was in my late 20s and my husband and I wanted to have kids, the doctors looked at us and said, this is not possible for you guys. And we sit here today with 2 miracle children. So I have a history of God being a healer in my life. And you would think with that history of his faithfulness to heal, I would not struggle at all believing for my daughter.
But it's like another level with your children, right?
Oh my gosh.
It's like another level of trusting God. I'm going to put my baby in your hands.
Literally having to go, literally my hands can't heal her. The doctor's hands can't heal her. I don't have anyone else who can heal my daughter except for you. And I'm going to have to depend on the scripture that says, by your wounds and by your stripes, we are healed. And so every time I sing the song, I'm having to put into faith when my doubt is you know, as I'm getting choked up, just thinking about it, like I didn't know how real those words would be on the days when you're doubting, when the days when it feels so hard to have faith that this isn't going to be the rest of her life. I just have to go back to my circumstance cannot lower my theology of who you are. I have to take this circumstance and raise it to the knowledge of Christ, that you say you are a healer. You say that this is what you do. And so I'm going to trust you till my final breath, whether I see it here or I see it on the other side. You are who you say you are. And that is a healer. And end of story. So we're already in tears. This is what happens when you get women together.
I mean, and you talk about the thing that matters the most, our babies. Like,
it's just like it has tested every part of my faith in ways I had no idea could be tested. And yet my daughter's faith, I mean, I've been so challenged by her looking at me and saying, but Mom, if this hadn't happened, I don't know what my relationship would be like with God. Like, he's my everything because I don't have anything else but him. And she's like, I wouldn't be the same person. And she has said, I would go through this every single time over and over and over again if it would lead me to where I am in my relationship with Jesus. And I'm just like, kid, I know adults who haven't been able to wrestle through something like that and get to that place. And they live their whole life angry and frustrated with God. And here you are, 15, going, this is minor. In the long story of my life, I can say that this is what has made Jesus real to me. And I'm just like, well, I'm challenged. Like, you know, I'm having a hard day and I'm wanting to, like, you know, shake my fist. And here's my kid going, Mom, it's going to be fine. God's going to do what he's going to do in the perfect timing. And so we're in the journey of it.
The goodness of God, because it's like he saw it coming.
He did.
It was not like a surprise to him. And so he was like, I'm going to write this song in your heart.
I know. What's crazy too is, so I've done 2 records up until this point, both studio records. I've loved my records that I've done. It's been such a dream to get to do them. But when I went to do this 3rd record, I really felt like the Lord was like, I want you to go back to kind of just the grassroots of who you are, which is a worship leader. I've been on staff at a church for 10 years, leading worship, discipling people in our church. And really, that's who I am. I'm a local church girl at heart. I still serve on the worship team in my church. It's kind of my wheelhouse. It's where I'm the most me. And I've been saying to people, every record is like a baby that you birth, but this, and you love every single one of them differently. But this album, you know, album baby, if you will, it feels like it looks the most like me. It sounds the most like me. And when I look at the songs, so many of them are about how God has the power to do the impossible, and focusing on who he is and what he can do. And, you know, I didn't plan that. We were writing these songs over a long period of time. But there's just this theme that's weaved through this album of just like, God actually is healer. God can heal. God wants to do things. You can trust in his nature. He is good. And so, yeah, I'm excited.
He goes before us, doesn't he?
He goes before us, and I'm excited and challenged to have to sing all of these songs from a place of faith and not just, you know, sometimes you hand songs off into the world and you've already done the wrestling through. And so it's kind of now you're like, okay, I've actually walked this journey and I can hand it off to you. But so many of these songs I'm still in the real-time journey of walking out my faith in these areas, but it's good.
I want to talk about you touring with Lysa Terkeurst.
Yes!
Was it like drinking out of a fire hydrant like every single night?
Oh,
I mean, did you get like your seminary degree?
No, I wish I had my seminary degree.
But did you feel like being with her all that time?
Oh my gosh, like there were so many questions that I wanted to ask her and Joel and just be like, but what about this? And can you tell me about this? And da-da-da-da. I was trying to like not blast them with all my theological questions. But, you know, she just has the most beautiful way of taking really hard stuff, really challenging things that we've walked through, and yet never losing hope in the midst of it. And like really having her eyes set on the one who is our helper. And that's so obvious every night when she's ministering and she's preaching and speaking to women. And it was a really special time to get to go out on the road with her and just minister to so many women. A lot of the women that come, they're coming in with really heavy stories and really hard, broken things, and just to honestly love on them and pour on them and kind of just take them through the journey of like, we see you, we're going to acknowledge your pain, and then we're going to lift your eyes to the one who is your helper and hopefully send you out of this place with some hope and some joy that, God meets you and he'll see you. So yeah, it's really special. She's become very dear to me.
Well, what I do love about her is that, is like you said, a lot of women have gone through hard things, but she doesn't just let them stay there.
She doesn't.
She says, okay, all right, now let's go back to Jesus.
It would be so easy, right? It'd be so easy in anyone's story if there's heartache and grief and pain to get stuck there. And I think a lot of people do. But she has truly made it a mission in her own personal life to say, I refuse to let the enemy take me out in the pit of pain and grief and disappointment. And she is the picture of someone who's like, I will grab hold onto Jesus, even if it means he's pulling me through a desert and I'm bruised and bloody. And man, I want to be that kind of woman that's like, no matter what I'm going through, I'm not letting go. My hands are tethered to the one who I know will pull me out of this season. So she's special. I love her.
All right. And then my last question. As women, we have seasons of life.
Yes.
I remember this season where I just decided to walk away from my career because I wanted to stay home.
I did the same.
You did the same?
I did.
And I wouldn't trade it. I mean, I have memories that I can tuck away. I mean, I was there at preschool to point out where the Easter egg was, so my daughter saw it before the other kid got it, and I planned the Christmas parties and I did all the things. Okay. But as a woman, you can't have it all. And I think that is a lie that you think you can have it all. You have it in seasons.
Yeah, you can't.
So there are times that I look back and I'm like, man, if I was doing my career, I would probably be much farther in my 40s than I am right now. Mm-hmm. But I am also doing really cool things in my 40s I didn't think I would have.
Same.
So how do you, the woman right now that is debating what to do, what would be your advice?
When I was 20, I thought I would get a record. I'd moved to Nashville. I thought I'd get a record deal and everything would, just go the way that I'd planned it. And of course, that is not how it went. And at 25, God just kind of wrecked me and just was like, are you willing to do it my way now? Like, are you willing to let me actually be in the driver's seat and take you on the journey that I've written for your life? And it was a really hard decision, but it ultimately meant I stopped pursuing being an artist. And God, made me turn that corner on the journey, and it led me into full-time ministry for 10 years. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like I'll do this for the rest of my life. I can't imagine doing anything else. And then at 33, God was like, oh, another turn. Are you willing to walk away from this job and be a stay-at-home mom for a season? And I remember being like, oh, okay, that's not what I saw coming, and having to do it in that season. And then I remember at 39, God going, oh, we've got another turn. Are you willing to step into being a full-time minister of music in an industry that you're not used to? I mean, and later in life, at 39 years old, what I would tell women when I look back at my life, the key was not that I was grinding or that I was pursuing something or that I was chasing something. The key was that I just said yes to everything that God asked me to do. Sometimes yes meant taking a seat and sitting down for a season. Sometimes yes meant getting back up and stepping into something. But the thing is that all of those yeses are weaved into God's plan. And so I think for the mom that's sitting at home and you have a dream in your heart and you love your children and you love being a mom, but you're wrestling with feeling like there's this unmet desire or there's this call on your life and you have no outlet for it. Can I just encourage you, like, serve your family the way you would be serving that dream? Because God entrusts those who are faithful with a little with more. And it is a test. I hate to tell you that, but it is. Mm-hmm. It is a test. God's going, will you find joy and identity and all of the things that you're looking for in me, in a thing that maybe isn't ticking every box that you want to tick right now? And then for the woman that's maybe running herself into the ground and has no margin, can't breathe, feels like she's drowning. Do you trust God enough that if you took a step back, that he's big enough to make up the difference and that you're not going to miss out. Like, I haven't missed out on anything. If anything, I could have missed out on being obedient. And I think obedience is the thing that keeps you in the long run. And so I would just say to each of you that, kind of moms, really lean in and listen to the Holy Spirit. You were talking about seasons. This last thing I'll say. There was this point when I was staying at home at mom. I had been about a year off of staff, and I'd finally gotten comfortable with just saying, I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, that's a hard,
man, that year of wanting to be like, well, I'm a this, and I don't know, and, and finally was just like, oh, I stay at home with my kids. I'm raising them. And I was really content when I would say that. But I was serving a ton in my church, and I didn't want to give that up. And I felt really like I was supposed to be doing that. But I felt God was asking me to step away from that for a season and focus on something else. And I was wrestling with it. And I remember one day God saying, why are you wearing winter and spring in my prayer time? And I was like, say what? And he's like, why are you wearing winter and spring? When you wear the wrong thing in the wrong season, it will make you uncomfortable. It will make you feel like you are sweating, you're heavy, nothing fits right. It doesn't feel, it's off. Everything feels off. And he goes, I told you that the season was changing and you wanted to take the season you were in into a new thing. But when you step into a new thing, you have to change clothes with the season that you're in. And so I've had to learn that when God asks me to step into something new, usually it means something has to come off. Something has to be set down. Something has to be let go of in order for God to do the thing that he needs to do in that new season, and to not fear it, to not worry that if I have to let go of something that my hands will remain empty forever. It might be empty for a minute, but maybe that's the point in that season. And then eventually God will put something back in your hands that's right for that moment in time in that season.
Man, Hope, I needed to hear that.
I needed to hear it. It was convicting.
I mean,
gosh, it was a hard moment to be like,
Yeah.
oh, yes, that's exactly how I feel.
especially when you feel like you're like a Groundhog Day as a mom, and you're like, I loaded that dishwasher just to unload it and then load it again. And then this mountain of laundry that keeps on reproducing. Like, I don't know where
what happens.
What happens,
it
guys?
Grows. It's
It
like
grows.
its own miracle grow.
I know. And then I see my kids have outfit changes, and I'm like, no. I'm not going to wash those clothes. You're going to have one outfit per day.
I feel like I become a horrible human when I see them changing clothes. Like, what are you doing? No, I'm not washing that. You better take that off.
That's right. That's right.
My girls do their own laundry now. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Actually, I was going to keep doing it. My husband said, this is ridiculous. This is out of control. Our kids have to do their own laundry.
I do the same. And I'm trying to teach my oldest how to iron now.
Oh, ironing's hard. Have you gotten a steamer? Steamers are nice.
I love this. Okay, I'll maybe look into that.
Okay.
So Hope, Darst, we're going to go off now and make some friendship bracelets because I think we're BFFs now.
Okay, I love that idea.
Okay, let's go do that.